Thank you for tuning in to DETV, and you are watching the kickoff episode of Around Town with OG Nitty, and I'm your host, OG Nitty. That's right, that's me. Here on Around Town, what we're going to do is discuss the entertainment scene in and around the city of Wilmington and throughout the great state of Delaware. We're going to cover your singers, your songwriters, your rappers, your actors, your promoters, anybody. If it has to do with entertainment, we're going to cover it. We're going to talk to the people about it, and we're going to address the issues affecting it, okay? And that's what we do here on Around Town with OG Nitty. And on this premiere, on this kickoff episode, I couldn't think of a better person to interview as we talk about this entertainment thing here today. Matter of fact, I'm wearing this shirt. That's how much this man has been putting on for the state of Delaware. We're going to find out how long he's been putting on for the state of Delaware and what he's doing on the entertainment scene. I give you Mr. Richard Rowe. What's going on, Rich?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
No doubt. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time out your busy schedule. When I say your schedule is busy,
yeah, man,
it's busy.
Yeah,
Every time I look around the city, you're on a flyer performing somewhere.
Yeah.
You're performing one week, you're performing 3 times that week, you're performing the next week. It's in Delaware, it's out of Delaware, it's north, it's south, you're all over. Off the bat, I gotta know, who is Richard Rowe?
Richard Rowe is a musician, a producer, a poet, an activist, a teacher, a little bit of everything, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I started as an MC, and my role as an MC has expanded over time, and I mixed MCing with community activism. So I mixed those two, and then that's where you find Richard Rowe with the healthy balance of doing community work and being active in music. Yeah, man, it's the city. The city is like changed so much. I mean, there's so much going on. This is like a big art town, and you know, my job is kind of like to make this a music town too. Music is art. People don't know that. Like, they feel like, you know, like music is art, and I try to tell them that. You know, for a long time they had this ideal of just art, the visual art. But what about the performing art? KRS One said something one time, right? He says, let me see, how shall I start? If I say stop the violence, I won't chart. Maybe I should write some rhymes like Mozart. As many people don't believe rap is an art. I think what I do is artful. I think it's art. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful art.
The beautiful thing about being all those things is each and every one of those aspects of Richard Rowe can be tied into entertainment, which is what we're going to cover here. And, you know, throughout this interview, I want the young people out there, these young aspiring artists, to be able to pull away or take away from it, you know, some things that can help them, you know, continue to grow and blossom in the industry as they try to make it. So, of course, we're going to address those. But first of all, we're going to talk about Richard Rowe, the hip-hop artist. Okay. I can't just call you a rapper, because when I think of rappers, I kind of just think pen to paper and spitting balls and going. But you're an artist, because you realize it's an art. From the shows to the albums to the projects. I've experienced it all. You know, we got a lot of history going on right here. So, what first got you into the hip-hop game?
I guess it would be my sister. You know what I'm saying? When we moved from the west side of Wilmington to the north side of Wilmington, she fell in love with the hip hop culture. You know, and I used to always ask them, write me some rhymes, because she started rhyming. This was in the late 80s. And they never would write nothing for me, so I always thought that you just freestyled. I thought you go into a booth, and whatever came out is what you kept. Right. So I learned the art of freestyle, you know, and then she stopped rapping, and I just fell in love with it. It was something that I can do, and I was good at it. So in the late 80s, my sister, she influenced me and inspired me, and I just kind of kept it going. Okay.
So now, of course, growing up in the city, just as you've grown up in Wilmington, I've grown up in Brooklyn. We all know, like you said, when you're in school or what have you, and you're at lunchtime, somebody's making a beat on the table, somebody's rapping. That's when you kind of find out, especially if once you get to the high school level, you find out who can rap and who can't rap.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right?
Absolutely.
But then here now, we get to the point where there has to be something that clicks that makes you say, wait, I can take this to the next level. I think I can get beyond just spitting in my cafeteria or spitting on the street corner. I think I can make music, get paid to make music, and influence the people. Who or what was it that got you to that point?
The people that were around me, you know, they just inspired me, and they kept telling me, you need to take this serious because you're very good at it, you know, and I always thought that, you know, I was okay in the class of everybody else, that we were just doing this as something fun. But the people around me, and even the people that I was rhyming with, they're like, you have something special, you know, and I just figured if I can cultivate it, you know, and work on it, I can be even better and take it to the next level. Okay. So it was just the people around me. I think it takes a community, you know, to jumpstart an artist. Right. You know, it's not an artist, and I would be egotistical to say, yeah, I just had it all, but I think it's the community that, you know, that gives you the inspiration to, you know, step out and do what you do.
Right. Okay, definitely beautiful. Now, but the thing is, too, I feel like, you know, 18 people, 28 people could tell you, okay, you got this. You need to take it. But then it's another thing to actually take that step. You know, I feel like it has to be a scary thing. You know, you grow up in a world where people teach you, well, you know, study your school books and everything, learn to get a job, and, you know, go that route in life, the house, the picket fence, be a 9 to 5. So to say now, I'm gonna step aside, you know, sidestep that route a little bit, if you will, and let me try to make it happen in this game where, kind of like the NBA, you got a 1 in a million shot of actually being able to get paid for it or get on a level where people, you know, recognize you. How did you overcome that fear, if you will, or that discomfort to be able to say, okay, well, they said I can do it, but still, how did you take it upon yourself to say, I can do this, and I'm gonna do it?
Well, probably my mother. You know, my mother was an inspiration to me, and my mother, like, to me, she's like, has a Panther mentality, like a Black Panther mentality, the old Black Panthers, of kind of saying, don't just, you know, graduate and work for somebody, but create your own opportunity, you know, so you can be your own boss. So I just coupled my talent with the things that she told me, and that's why, like, now I'm an independent artist, and a lot of people have approached me in terms of signing a deal, but those deals weren't in my favor. So I just continue to work as an independent artist, and, you know, I'm just having a lot of success.
Definitely. That's a great segue. Let's talk about that for a second. After these messages. You threw me way off. Yeah, I just saw this.
I know, right? I'm like, uh-oh.
All right. I'll see y'all later, all right? All right. A lot of people are asking me, Ivan, what exactly is DETV? DETV is nothing but positive news 200% of the time. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at DETVCH, Facebook DETV, and if you have any leads or anybody that you want to highlight, feel free to contact us on those platforms. All right, my name's Ivan. I'll talk to you later.
I'm sure you're wondering what Style TV is, and basically it's a collaboration between Fashion in the Square and DETV on everything that is fashion forward in the first state. What we're going to bring to you is the simple things, beauty secrets, of course, that's a given. We're going to bring what's in trends, fashion, absolutely, but we're also going to bring to you fabulous places to eat, where the models shop, where to live in our city that's fashion forward. Fashion meets architecture, meets style, meets grace. We're bringing it all to you every week here on Style TV. So don't forget, follow us on DETVCH.com. Mwah. Thanks.
And thank you for joining us once again. This is Around Town with OG Nitty. We're sitting here with the artist Richard Raw. And of course, I can't go forward without thanking our sponsors, because of course, without our sponsors, we wouldn't be here at Levity, which is located at 228 West 9th Street in Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. This is Wilmington's home for loose leaf teas, where you can get over 70 different varieties. And when I tell you, they have some of the best teas I've ever had, I definitely mean it. I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting here in this building. You can come on down Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturdays 11 to 3. Now, before the break, I wanted to ask you about being an independent artist. You know, you said you bypassed deals that were offered to you.
Yes.
And people, when they hear about signing a deal, they look at you and say, you must be a fool to pass up on the deal. You know, somebody's gonna pay you to go ahead and put this work out. You'll have a team now, you're gonna get this money, and then you're gonna make all this music, because that's how they do. You gotta sign deals to make it. Can you tell us why would you go against that?
Well, what I've learned from being a part of the industry is that, you know, a new artist deal isn't structured for you to benefit. It's structured for the label to benefit, you know, and so the best thing that I can do is work and get myself to a point where if somebody wants to sign me, I'm at the head of the negotiation. Like if we're negotiating, I'm negotiating on my terms as opposed to on their terms. So a lot of people don't realize that. It's best to do your work and your due diligence and put in as much work as you can so that you have a broad audience. So you're bringing something to the table as opposed to letting them bring everything to the table, and now they negotiate a deal that's for them. And you know, some of the new artists, they may get 15, 16 cents on every album that's sold, and they may sell 1 million, 2 million albums. How much money is in their pocket? How much work did they do? Like, you have to really think about your work ethic and what you do, and your value. I know I have value. I bring value to what I do. I'm producing, I'm writing, I'm arranging, I'm doing a lot of different things. So if somebody is coming at me, they better come with a good deal.
Okay, so now for the young up-and-coming artists, what you're essentially saying is this: if somebody says, "Here's $1 million deal on the table," you're not getting $1 million.
You're not getting $1 million because you gotta figure that's a budget that they're gonna give you. They gotta recoup anything they give you. They have to recoup, and they may give you a budget, and out of that you have to pay lawyers' fees. You have to pay producers. You have to pay studio time. You have to pay a lot of things.
Okay.
So people don't understand how the industry works.
And you got to pay taxes.
You have to pay
The
taxes.
tax man coming.
Yeah, and they're gonna make sure that they do their taxes, but
Right.
you have to make sure you have an accountant, or And a lot of them use, they'll sign a deal and they'll use lawyers from the label, and they're to benefit. Right. They're gonna sign a deal that benefits the label and benefits them.
Okay.
So these are types of things you have to think about. You have to go and get an independent lawyer, who's not connected to the label. These are the types of things we got to start thinking about if we want to take control of our destiny as artists.
So now, let's say I'm an upcoming artist. All I know how to do is rap per se, or make music, if you will.
Okay.
How do I figure out how to put those other things into place to protect me from the business side of things?
Well, I think one of the things, your talent is going to carry you but so far, but you need to find people who believe in what you do and create a team. And it's not as hard. People think it's difficult, but create a team that's around you of people that love what you do and have skills. Like I always say, in Delaware, we don't have executive producers. Executive producers can come to the table and say, you know what, you don't sound good on that beat.
Right.
Even though I know you think you do, but they have an expertise. They can offer you constructive criticism and work with you to try to pair you with things that sound good for you.
Okay.
So I think we suffer from a lack of those components that help this whole thing go.
Okay.
So, I think you have to surround yourself with people who have skills, right, that can come to the table with different skills that can enhance what you do. Don't try to do it all. If you don't have the skills, then don't try to do it all.
Okay, so Richard Raw, how long would you say you've been in the hip hop game, seriously?
Probably about 4 or 5 years, seriously.
Seriously,
Yeah.
okay. So now in that 4 or 5 years, I'm sure you've seen a lot, you've done a lot. How difficult was it for you to put together that team of which you just spoke?
It wasn't difficult because I used people that were around me.
Okay.
You see, I used their talents and their skills. I had somebody who graduated and they could write real well.
Okay.
So I'm going to utilize them to do my press release. You know what I'm saying? The guy who's DJing for me, he wasn't a DJ. He learned to DJ by working with me. I didn't have nobody that I could trust that could come and DJ and do my sound.
Right.
He learned that along the way. You see what I mean?
Right.
So it's a blessing that so many people around me, they kind of started working with me and finding their own niche and finding their own lane, and I supported them as they supported me.
Okay.
So you see, you got to support those that are around
Right.
you, and then that's how I built my team. And in essence, people just came along and they fit right in, and they found out, you know what, I can do this. I'm good at this.
All right. And from that team, you essentially then built a brand.
Absolutely.
Through that brand, you built a following. Through that following, you got to a point where you can do shows and things of that nature. And I want to talk about that after we return after these messages from our sponsors. This is Around the Town with OG Nitty.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Murphy.
My name is Evan Marin,
My name is Gabriel Humphrey.
and I'm a student at Zip Code Wilmington.
I'm learning to code because I want a career.
I'm learning to code because I want to be appreciated by my employer.
We're learning Java over 12 weeks.
We'll become the kind of coder that every company wants.
Learn here, work anywhere.
Zip code Wilmington.
Zip Code Wilmington.
Zip code Wilmington. We're here.
Hi, I'm Maria Cabrera, Councilwoman at Large for the City of Wilmington, and I'm here to say to you that we need to increase the peace in the City of Wilmington. One way we can increase the peace is by being vigilant, keeping an eye out on our neighborhood. Do you see any strange faces, any strange cars, out-of-state license plates? Nowadays, the gun and the drug sales are taking place in a mobile environment. Well, a car will park and wait, and another car pulls up. The transactions takes place even on bicycles nowadays, and they'll keep rolling. When you see this going on in your neighborhood, take a snapshot as long as you can do it safely. Call and report it to the anonymous crime tip line. You can text at 888-777, or you can call 302-576-3990, or you can call me right here at the council office at 302-576-2140. Let's increase the peace in the City of Wilmington. It begins with you.
Welcome back to DETV's Around Town with OG Nitty. Here we are with our guest Richard Raw. And before the break, we were going to discuss how you built your brand into a following, into the showman that you are. So now, let's talk about, you just actually had some performances recently.
Yes.
Too many to name, actually.
The rich get richer while the poor get poorer. We living in a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Sitting back waiting for Babylon to fall, cause they refuse to listen when the Most High calls.
They make lies seem like they the truth. Make clouds run away, tap dance on the roof. I make fools say, boy, you slick. Fools dogs to submit. I'm the rap Mike Vick. That's bad. I make a cheater say, boy, you quick. I'm the truth. I can make the flu look sick. Make pliers say, watch his grit, no joke. I make coke take a sniff. That's bad. I make a bowling ball close, all hoes so froze. I can even make the sun look froze. That's coke.
And one thing about me is I'm a fan of good performances. A lot of people don't realize, like, I'm so much about my craft. I'll sit home and I'll just watch performances. I'll watch Marvin Gaye, I'll watch Stevie Wonder, and I'll watch all of what they do, and they inspire me. I'll just sit and watch for hours. You know, people be like, come on, man, come out. No, I'm in here studying. So, and that translates into my music. Like, people, and I don't know, you tell me what you think about this. People say, you don't even come off as a rapper when you perform. It's almost not even rap anymore.
You don't, you're in the zone. You're in the zone. That's why I say I can't just call you a rapper. I have to call you an artist, because I couldn't even really put a title to it, what it is you come out as.
Lyrically, I'm murderous, serving purposeless, serving it's like Roger Federer. Poetry to these competitors, it is your song. Smack those silly that sing along, kick on the mic devices, sacrifice your life like the husband of ISIS. Not a myth, when I spit, they drift, coming out that pit, digging that pit. Running their lips like they want, it's what they got, they know. Trying to act up, but I bet they won't. I roll their bodies up, then I take them off, then I put them all in my drum.
Performance is an art, so, you know, I just get so wrapped up in it. And putting together my own shows is just the things that I've seen. When I look on stage and I see these great big performances of Bob Marley and like I said, you know, Marvin Gaye or Public Enemy, I'm like, wow. So I try to bring that energy on stage, and I know it's not here. The local artists are not thinking in that way. So I'm gonna do it and hopefully inspire and influence them to step up their game in terms of performances.
And now here's the thing I have to ask, because of course I've been to many a showcase. And matter of fact, now that I think about it, showcases, not shows. But they were billed as shows. And sometimes I feel like when an artist says, come to my show, and I come, they just got on stage with a mic and just started spitting.
I know.
That was it. DJ, play the cuts, play the CD joints or the show tracks, and I'ma just go ahead and spit. But that might be fine and dandy if someone doesn't know what a show is, right?
Right.
But then when I see a Richard Raw show, I'm like, wait.
It's a production.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you do that? What's the difference between a Richard Raw production? How does one have a Richard Raw production versus just come out to my show and I'm gonna just get up here and do that? Well, what's the difference in that?
It's just what I do.
Okay.
I mean, in order to figure that out, we got to get in here. And sometimes, you know, I don't even know how it happens. I guess it's just the inspiration that I receive from the energies that are in the atmosphere. And that may be spooky to some people, but that's what I do. So what you see on stage is channeling. You know, I call it, I don't even think I'm performing half of the time. Sometimes I believe I'm channeling the energy from a Tupac, or channeling the energy from a Bob, or channeling the energy from those ancestors. That's what I'm trying to bring to the table, because you know, I'm a Pan-African. So that school of thought is alive in what I do.
And I imagine it takes tons of practice, you know, leading up to a show to put this show together.
I mean, you know, this is what I tell artists out there, you know, and I'll tell you, if you want to be a great performer, get a full body mirror and practice in front of it to see what you're doing. And then after you perform your shows, have people critique you. Sometimes I'll be in front of a mirror to see what I'm doing, then I'll bring in my team and I'll perform in front of them, and then they can give me constructive criticism. Again, you know, we have to get rid of the ego and the I-ness that I'm doing this alone. You know what I'm saying? This is a collective effort. So it's Raw Vibe Collective and Richard Raw Productions. That's a whole bunch of people that are contributing to make this thing work. And my mom is at the helm of that, because she'll tell me, boy, you did horrible. You know what I mean?
Definitely. You know, mother knows best.
Yeah.
Mama knows.
She'd be like, I didn't like that. You need to do this. The first show I did at the Queen, she gave me so much constructive criticism, and I addressed all of those things, and my shows started taking off.
Wonderful. Now, so just switching gears slightly, through the art, through the hip hop, through the music, through the entertainment, you actually do a lot for the community.
Absolutely.
All right. I know I've seen you conduct workshops on the history of hip hop, or basically things to keep kids busy give them an alternative, keep them off the streets, things of that nature.
Yeah.
How does that come out of Richard Raw, the performer?
Again, that's another portion of who I am. I always consider myself a social, an activist in the community, a community activist. And so, it's not, for me, music is special. It's a spiritual thing. Okay. I take music as a spiritual thing. And so, I feel like I have a commitment to help the next generation, to properly socialize them and help them grow into what they need to be. So, I think all of us have a duty and a responsibility to help our younger generation. If we don't pass on these jewels to the next generation, then what values and principles will they have to pass on to another generation? So it's my duty and job, to help properly socialize them.
Okay, definitely. And one last thing, here we are. It's October 17, 2015. We're actually in the fourth quarter of the year, which flew by. What's on deck for the rest of the year for Richard Raw?
A lot. So much, man. My schedule, like next week, I'm booked every day. Okay. And I just got a lot going on. So stay tuned with what I do at www.richardraw.com. That's the best place you can go and find out what I'm doing next. I'm always doing something. I'm always busy. I just want to plug just a few things. An initiative I'm working on is it's called A New West Side Story. Okay. And we're trying to, we have a pilot program we're developing. It's a bunch of us collectively, and we're trying to teach the neighborhood children how to grow their own foods. But we're trying to connect the children and the mothers and bring them collectively and teach them how to grow their own food. So that's one of the things that I'm really heavy on is, when you look at the behavioral issues of our children, I always say that they're not eating healthy foods. Mm-hmm. So you can't expect them to behave properly because what you eat affects your nervous system. Okay. What affects your nervous system affects you emotionally. Okay. So they're emotionally disturbed, and that causes them to go out and to be violent. Okay. So these are some of the things that I truly believe in. So if we can get them healthy foods and we can, show them meditation and yoga and these different things, then we can change the culture of what's going on in the city. I truly believe in that, and good music. Definitely. That's what I provide for them. I'm going to give them good music and teach them an alternative way to eat. And we're going to change this city, man. Just watch.
That's amazing. I want to thank you for your time, taking time out to sit with us here today. And again, for more information on Richard Raw, the man, the myth, the movement, you can go to www.richardraw.com. For more on DETV, you can go to detvch.com. This is Around Town with OG Nitty. I want to thank you for joining us, and want to also thank Levity for having us here at 228 West 9th Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. Until then, I'm OG Nitty. I'm out.
Go from when you go on your way down.
Thank you for tuning in, and welcome to DE. Come on, I put the glass down too hard now.
I know. I heard that. I'm like, oh.
Slam the glass.
Boom.
Strong motherfucker.
Okay, let me try that again. I feel like this is gonna make noise no matter what.
Take 5.
Yo, you remember back in the day, man, all we used to watch on TV? Well, let me start that back over.
We gotta remember back in the day.
What you, Miyagi? Crane?